Hello ladies, gents, boys and girls, and welcome back into Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, and welcome back into the iniBuilds A340-300, newly updated. I think we're on version 1.06 now. It comes with a whole host of updates which we'll put to the test on this long haul. We're sat here on the ground at Aerosoft Frankfurt. We're going to be heading over to Seattle. Flight time 10 hours 32 minutes. We've got beautiful MK studio scenery for Seattle, so it's setting up to be a really nice flight. If my editing skills are good enough, this should be coming out to you Christmas Eve, and this will be the last video on the channel until after Christmas. So I'd like to wish you a Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, whatever you're celebrating. Hope you're having a lovely time with family and friends, and it's very exciting to see what comes next year to Flight Sim. There's a lot on the calendar for early next year as well, so it'll be very interesting to see how next year goes. But I thought just before the end of the year we'll do a really nice long haul today in the Ini 340. Like I said, 10 hours 32 minutes gate to gate. It's setting up to be a really nice flight. We're going to be departing out of runway 18 here and arriving onto 16 right into Seattle. So let's jump into the flight deck, get everything set up for today's long haul. So, thank you for joining me in the flight deck of the 340. It looks really nice. iniBuilds have done a really nice job with the modelling on this aeroplane. So we'll start off by getting the batteries on, and then we'll go external power A and B. We'll get the emergency exit lights on. No smoking to the auto position. And we'll jump into the electronic flight bag, and we'll go My Flight. We'll import it from SimBrief. It's one click and it's done. And that looks good to me. We have... I'm just trying to think what we need to do in this aeroplane to get GSX load. I think I just do it through the menu, I can't remember. But we'll centre up the secondary artificial horizon. And we'll jump into GSX.
Boarding
We'll
requested.
just request boarding. Yeah, it's going to take a while. IRS is to the nav position. All three are aligning. We'll get the ground control on, crew supply on, and the lights on. Fuel pumps can come off now. I meant on, sorry. We get the APU master to on. We'll jump into the FMC. We'll go init reference, waiting for response. We will request our flight plan from good old SimBrief, and we're going to get the start switch on as well for the APU. Route uplink complete. We'll go EDDF, and actually on the flight plan it's giving us 07 left, but that's just completely wrong. They are departing off of 18 at the moment, so let me change SimBrief. Give me a couple of seconds and we'll see what departure they're going to give us. Right, that took a lot longer than expected. It's the Maru 9 Sierra we're going to be taking. We'll insert that, and then we won't do the arrival into Seattle yet because we've got quite a while until we get there. And the winds may change and it might be a different arrival. We'll go to plan mode though, make sure the flight plan we've got plugged in is correct. So the departure is correct. The routing today is a bit interesting. It's going to take us northerly over the UK, Greenland, Canada, then descending into good old Seattle. Get 4,100 plugged there because we don't know the stop altitude of the SID, and then we'll import all from SimBrief, and I'll just do instant load on everything because GSX would take too long, sorry. And I like having the weights there already set up so I can just carry on with the FMC flow and do the init reference, which we'll do now. So we've got block fuel of 73.6 tons and zero fuel weight of 151.0, so it's giving us 150.9, but that's correct anyway. And we'll do takeoff performance. So it's runway 18. It is dry. Anti-ice and forced turbo off. Air conditioning on. Flaps 2. It's giving us pretty nice V speeds there. It looks acceptable. So we'll send that to FMGS. And we'll confirm the data in the computer and we'll clear that, and that looks good to me there. So flaps 2.49 up, 53 degrees selected temperature, 142, 147 and 153. Right, that's done there. So we're going to get flight director left, flight director right side on. Charts, EDDF, search. We're going to get some airport charts firstly.
May I see your boarding pass?
Where the hell is the airport chart? Am I being blind?
May I see your boarding pass?
There you go. And we'll go for the taxi chart as well.
See your boarding pass?
No de-icing required today, so that should be okay. It's not too cold here actually. Now let's look for the departure, and it looks like there's a lot of departures for Frankfurt. God, where is our departure? I'll have to go through them individually.
Hello.
Am I being stupid, or I genuinely can't see it anywhere. See, I wish it did like the Phoenix does, where it hearts your, or pins your star, and there it is, star and SIDS. So, speed restriction after departure, stop altitude's 4,000 feet, it's quite low actually.
Good afternoon.
4,000 set, lovely. Right, that's pretty much everything guys, quite a simple setup in the 340. Wait for GSX to complete boarding and then we'll get ready for push and start. Right, good old GSX has completed boarding, so we'll ask for pushback and start up. Get the seatbelts on first, and we'll get the beacon light on. And I don't know the areas very well, so I'll just go area 2, November 5, facing south. That sounds good enough to me. There's a lot of choices. We've got a custom GSX profile set for here as well, which comes built in with Aerosoft. You just have to put it in the GSX folder. Get 1000 plugged in.
Commencing push.
And ignition start, parking brakes released.
Start at will.
Right, engine number 1. And we'll wait for, I don't know what the official N2 percentage is, but I usually leave it until 12 to 13%, and then I chuck in the following engine. So there's engine number 2, and I never get old of seeing 4 engines on the wing. They look really good. iniBuilds have done a fantastic job, and if you've seen their recent pictures of the TriStar, the Lockheed L1011, oh my word, I'm excited. One of my favourite aeroplanes designed is the L1011, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. It's going to be a handful flying that thing, because it's I don't know what the computer's called for it, but it's like point to point, so that'll be interesting. Right, engine number 1 and 2 starting nicely, and we're still getting that warning. That's fine. That is just because we loaded with GSX and we have inserted the weights ourselves. It won't let you go to the other page, which is really strange. So, but the plane is correctly configured with weights and stuff. I think it just confuses itself with GSX. Engine number 3, and it's boxed off now, and we'll wait for 13%. Engine number 4, and that wing walker is about to get ingested by number 3. Yeah, it's nice scenery, this Aerosoft one, and actually since their update on performance for how big the airport is, the performance is very nice. I could happily fly in and out of here and not have much impact on my system. Right, engine number 3 and 4, sorry, all coming alive nicely. Got all the brakes set to RTO, and it looks like it's going to stop us here, short of the road. So go parking brakes set.
Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
Confirm with GSX that we've got 4
We have a
good
good engine start. You can
Last
disconnect.
engine is just about to switch over to a veil. There's a veil on engine number 4, so we've got 4 good engines.
Unlocking gear.
Right, they're unlocking the gear. We'll sit here for a couple of seconds and wait for the bypass pin to be shown and the tug to be disconnected. And then we can start the flows for after engine start.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed. Left is clear. Right is clear.
Right, tug's clear enough. Where's the dude with the bypass pin? Don't see him. Oh, there he is. He was under the nose. Okay, so he's clearly told us that everything's good. It's in the bypass pin. Taxi light on. APU bleed and master off. Down here, we'll go speed brake armed. Ignition off. Flaps 2. Flight controls seems to have trimmed itself. I think it does that in real life. I think the 340s and 330s trim themselves. We'll do a flight control check. Right, full right, neutral, left, neutral, forward, neutral, and full back, neutral. Now for the rudders, full left and full right. All flight controls are free and correct. Let's taxi to runway 18. We'll get the terrain radar on first officer's side. We'll take the parking brake off. I'll put my brakes on. We'll do takeoff config. Cabin's ready already. Lovely. So we taxi runway 18. So it's a simple right-hand turn after this taxiway, after the ramp. Sorry, onto the taxiway, and it's straight down to runway 18. Welcome back into the flight deck. We have got clearance to take off. Runway is directly in front of us. Let's get the lights on. Everything is now set up nicely for departure out of runway 18. Right, weather radar's on now, and we'll see how good my lineup is today. Past couple of videos, trying to get used to the 7.3. My lineups and taxiing has been slightly suspect, so got to give this aeroplane a wide berth and a little bit more respect. Hold the brakes there. Beautiful. Right, foot on the rudder pedals correctly. Let myself get comfortable. Chrono, spool them up. Man Flex SRS auto thrust blue. And they've definitely upgraded those sounds, they're a lot better than they were. Here we go, entering the differently paved part of the runway, which is quite cool. Wind's gone to a tailwind.
V1.
V1, rotate, pull back on the stick. Maintaining wings level. There we go. Positive right gear up. And I have nav. Goodbye Frankfurt. Beautiful. Look at that down there. Nice German countryside as we're about to go into this soup above us. Horrible thick clouds. Thrust climb, climb. Continuing that right hand turn. And we'll go speed check flaps 1. Lose a little bit of lift going to flaps 1, so we'll continue. And leveling off now nicely. Autopilot 1 can be engaged, speed check, flaps clean. Have to disarm the speed brake. Turn off and taxi light can come off now, we're not going to need them. And we are slowly, very slowly climbing our way out of Frankfurt. Really nice rotation on that, felt quite good actually. I don't know if they've tweaked that at all. Here we go, the mighty 340 crawling out of Frankfurt. We are quite heavy actually, it's quite a long flight for this plane. Get all 4 engine anti-ices on as we enter the cloud basin. Speed's going to come back. Got a cruise altitude of 240. That's our initial climb. It's 240 up until the UK, and then we go up to 35, then 37, then 40. Our final step climb somewhere over Canada, which is that's okay. So what we'll do is we'll go up to 24. Pull. And that should give us open climb, and you can hear those CFM56s roar back into life as we need more juice. And we're not going to see the ground for a while now because the whole of Europe is covered in a big cloud. It's just that time of year. I'm surprised it's not snowing in Frankfurt, sorry. Usually it snows quite a lot in this part of the world, so especially in December, January time. Beautiful. And it's getting quite light now, so I'm assuming we're going to have a cool breakout any moment. Wow, that was pretty spicy. That was nice. That was a very cool view. Goodbye to that cloud. Yeah, it's very low cloud base. I wonder what the approach they're doing, because actually on taxi it looked like it was got quite good visibility. So ding the crew, tell them they can start their in-flight service. Engine anti-ice, we're not going to need that anymore. Speed brakes disarmed, flaps are up. There is our routing. 240 plugged in, but open climb. And the aeroplane's handling it very nicely. Get the tray table out because we're an Airbus pilot. I've nothing else to do for 10 hours now. So, no more jokes aside, let's put it back. And yeah, it's giving us an estimated fuel on board of -0.8, but that's wrong because that's taken into account that we're going to be cruising at 240 all the way to Seattle, which is just not true. We're going to start climbing again over the UK. So, beautiful. Right, that is pretty much it now for the climb out. I'll leave you with some climb, cruise and descent highlights, and I'll see you in about 10 hours when we're descending into Seattle. Hello and welcome back into the sim. The 340-300 by iniBuilds has handled the flight expertly so far, and as you can see we're descending into a not so pleasant Seattle. It's actually been a little bit bumpy for the last 20 minutes in the descent as we come over the terrain, and the weather picture in front of us doesn't look the nicest, so hopefully we have good visibility of downtown Seattle. We are still expecting ILS 16 right for our arrival. Winds are at the moment, I don't know whether this is wrong, but in the sim on the EFB it's saying 0 knots, 0 degrees, so I find that hard to believe. So we'll see what crazy weather and winds it throws at us on final approach. But as you can see, we're nearly there. We're going to vector ourselves onto a very long final here at Seattle. Flap full, order brake low, should get us down nicely on the exit we want. Beautiful. Look at the terrain down there. Seatbelt sign can come on now. Look at that. Hopefully we can see the ortho. I think America's got some of the best ortho scenery in the sim. It looks really, really nice in some areas, and I think Seattle's one of the places they've got the nicest scenery for, especially now with the MK Studios scenery that we'll be arriving into. It looks terrific. I think the Seattle scenery is not iniBuilds, sorry, but I think it's MK Studios' best work. We will vector ourselves on the opposite reciprocal runway heading for runway 16, so the reciprocal heading will be 344 degrees, and we'll pull. Aeroplane's going to command a right hand turn now. We've got flight director and landing system on. That looks pretty good down there. We're using auto FPS as well, and on my other screen it's showing me that we are in fact on a 300 terrain level of detail at the moment, so that's why it looks so good down there. And I've got a perfect flat score of 50 FPS, which I've had for the entire flight. I've lost no memory, and I'm still keeping the performance exactly how we left Frankfurt with my settings. We go vertical speed. Well, it's put itself into vertical speed because we're heading off course at 2,000 feet per minute. We might have to pull the lever of shame out in a second, and we'll get some engine anti-ice on because it is quite nippy down in Seattle. Like I said, it's not the nicest weather here. We didn't have this forecast actually, so I don't know if this is true, or this might be just Microsoft Flight Simulator throwing its toys out the pram again like it usually does with weather updates. But it doesn't look that nice. I know they call this the rainy city, don't they, in America? City of Rain. And that wing flex is really nice. It'd be interesting to see how Aerosoft and Tolis do their 340 and if it holds up to this aeroplane, because I know the Tolis will probably, well, it will definitely have better systems, but systems aren't everything in flight sim, you know, especially for what I do. I want to feel a bit immersed, so I'm hoping that Aerosoft can pull it out of the bag with the sounds and the exterior model. I never get tired of looking at that wing view. Such an awesome view, and it makes me more excited. I like 4-engine aeroplanes, but that 747-400 by PMDG, oh my word, I'm so excited. I'd probably say next year the aeroplanes I'm most excited for is the Fokker 100 by Just Flight. Hopefully the 747-400 comes out. I know the 100's coming sometime next year, but I'm hoping that the 400 comes out shortly after that. The TriStar by iniBuilds, not a lot of people are looking forward to that, but I am. I'm going to fly the hell out of that. That's going to be a cool aeroplane to fly. We're going to direct to the centre fixed point waypoint. Well, not the centre fix, the first approach fix for the ILS. Lovely. And this gets a bad rap, this aeroplane does. I was reading on a forum that people don't like the sounds and the you know, the modelling and this, that about this airplane. I think this is one of the most well-rounded aeroplanes in the sim at the moment. I really enjoy flying the 340. It's very nice to fly. And someone was bashing the sounds a little bit on a forum I read, but I quite like the sounds. I think they're acceptable. They're not the best, and they're definitely not the worst. I think if you go back to my review, I said that the speed brake noise of air sounded like the bins were being taken down the driveway, which is true, and that is still the case. And look at that ortho down there. This is why I love flying in America. Beautiful. Look at that. Like, I mean, that looks real live to me. I'm playing on a 32-inch curved 1440p monitor, and that looks unreal. Beautiful. makes me so excited for some of the airplanes, like the Bluebird 75 as well. Oh, it's going to be such a good year. And the Synaptic A220 as well. I'd like to know what your guys' favourite or most excitement for an aircraft coming out next year. Let me know in the comments below what you're most excited for. And it could be scenery as well. Like, I'm excited for that Atlanta scenery, DFW as well, with iniBuilds. That's cool. There is no speed restriction from Zerkro, so we'll just keep it 7,000 feet though, which we're going to meet anyway as we go into this layer of cloud here. Yeah, there's some nice sceneries, nice airports. Hopefully Fly Tampa come out with a couple of their stuff as well. Is that Boeing field down there? That looks like the Boeing factory to me. I don't have the Drzecki Designs one installed. This is just the, well, that'll just be the default. I've only got MK Studios Seattle, so looks good though. Looks that ortho from up here looks good. Yeah, I want not iniBuilds, Fly Tampa to bring out their Corfu, their Amsterdam as well, and that'll sort me out nicely. Look at that, unbelievable. That looks stunning. I'd like to report back as well, one of the gripes I had with the iniBuilds 340 was the flickering screens. That seems to have gone in SIM update 4 and the update to 1.06. I mean, that looks unreal. Airport city's off to our left. Going down quite nicely. It might be a tad low. Start bringing that speed back to 220 knots. Might need to get a little bit of speed brake out, maybe start bringing flaps out. We are quite a way away from the airport though. Beautiful, look at that out there. Go localise that. We haven't got a glide yet. I'm going to fly right over the city. This is pretty special, this is. Right, we'll go down to 5,000. I don't want to level off, and there's the glide. Speed check flat 1. Speed brake armed. Go down to 200 knots. There's flaps 1 coming out, just leading edge slats. And approach mode, second order pilot. About to catch glide. There's the city there loading in. Looks pretty nice to me. Right, coming in on the approach. Go around these 5,000 feet. Pretty self-explanatory. Get the speed brake out. That speed's not coming back enough for me. And shortly go flaps 2 when we're under the red bar. No, not flap 3, flap 2. Speed brake can be armed. And there's flap 2 coming out. Nice, look at that. What a treat this is. That view is unbelievable. The ortho and the city and everything. I mean, that looks real with the textures by iniBuilds and the lighting. That looks real. That's really nice. Get the anti-ice off. We don't need that anymore. Yeah, this is definitely, they've done this city handcrafted, or one of the city updates, because this is too nice. I mean, there's the Seattle Tower there. That's pretty cool. And look, we're getting 50 frames per second flat. It's not budging. I've got a terrain level of detail at 300 still. This is unbelievable. So we'll go manage speed, slow down a little bit. I can't stop looking outside, and there's is that a football stadium and then a baseball stadium next door? And then is that a roof that slides over? That's quite cool. Right, let's concentrate on actually being a pilot. So gears coming down should give us enough drag to get some more flaps out and configure the aeroplane. Flaps, if I can click the button, is 3. And what airfield's that below us? There's quite a few runways, well, airports, sorry, in Seattle, isn't there? I'm supposing that's another Boeing airport there. And there's the last stage of flaps, fully configured, fully stable. I can't stop looking at these views. This is unbelievable. Why haven't we flown into Seattle before? I think every time I've flown into Seattle off of video recording, it's been like cloudy, so we can't see anything. This is stunning. Right, so we're landing on the shortest runway, 16 right. We'll take hopefully get up by Foxtrot. Then we're going into the south satellite there, so maybe if we go full length as well. And then one of the gates, I'll have a double check on flight radar where they disappeared to. They landed 2 hours ago, real time, so. Disconnecting, that's my aeroplane. I feel comfortable to fly it. We've got a slight quartering tailwind, which hopefully isn't too much to deal with. And this does fly quite nicely. It's got a lot of weight behind it, like the real aeroplane. And you only need small inputs in this thing. It's very easy to start overcorrecting in the 340, and if you are swinging your flight stick or whatever you're using to fly around with large inputs, you're going to get yourself into a bit of bother. Little inputs. Nice calm day here at Seattle, so there's really no excuses for anything other than a butter landing. I've said it now, I'm going to do a minus 500 feet per minute, and the wheel struts are going to go through the wing. No, I don't think we've had a bad landing on the channel in a long time. That could all change today. A little bit of correction there, maintaining that descent rate. We're bang on glide, bang on localizer, and glide slope. It's nice to see that the glide slope and the depiction of the pappies matches up correctly. A lot of sims in 2024 don't have that, and you're constantly trying to figure out what's right and what's wrong.
100 above. Minimum.
Continue. Right, hold it there, cutting the thrust down. Down we are. Speed brakes are up, reversers are now green. Bang on the centre line, bang on the 1,000 footers. That's probably one of the best landings I've ever done. Completely stable all the way down. Very nice. Decelerating nicely now. Stopping is assured. So we'll go reverse ZIM. That looks pretty nice out there. Welcome down to MK Studios to Seattle. Order break off, kick that out. And we'll go on to our taxi charts. We'll take the high speed exit to our left, which is the one we did say we wanted. So we'll cut across 16 centre and 16 left. And then we'll taxi into the south satellite apron. Weather radar can come off because we're on the ground now. And the ground markings on this MK Studio scenery are really nice. Look really realistic. Speed brakes disarmed. Flaps up. APU master switch on. And we'll get APU start switch on. GSX. Let's use the new map to decide where we're going to park today. Lovely. And we're in the south apron, which is this one here. And that's a heavy gate there. Sierra 16. No, follow me. And we'll go with ASIG. What's it down through there? It felt really nice to hand fly that then. The winds were calm. Sort of a perfect landing that was. So this is 16 centre. I don't think, well, I could be mistaken. They might do dual runway operations here, or quad runway operations, but would this be like a, so they do 16 right for landings, 16 left for takeoff, and this one would just be an overflow runway in case, or would they use all three? I don't know. This is a part of the world I neglect a little bit. So what we'll do is we'll go Papa, spot 15, spot 99, Sierra 16. So let's see if it's marked correctly in the sim. So the APU's alive as well. And I can already see Sierra 16 in front of us, so we'll take a right. Papa, spot 15, spot 99. Turn-offs, landing lights, strobe lights off. And we'll keep the beacon and nav and logo lights on. So nice Alaskan hangar over there. Of course, this is one of Alaska's biggest bases. I think it's their biggest base, isn't it? This is their hub, Seattle. Right, there's spot 15, lovely. And then this left-hand turn should lead us. And I can see the signage for it there, spot 99. Lovely, MK Studios doing a terrific job here. And I can see the GSX ground handling, taxi light can come off, and Sierra 16's in sight. Yeah, the modelling and sort of ground textures of this scenery, it's MK Studios' best work, I believe. It's definitely up there. Their Malaga scenery is good as well, and the Barcelona one. Looking forward to their Rome scenery hopefully coming out soon. Right, is it going to be visual guidance docking, or are they going to have the big numbers pop up? Oh, we've got visual. Oh, and both. That's quite nice. So Sierra 16. Let's see if I can park this plane correctly. When you're flying the bigger planes, better to be slow. Just take your time. Especially when taxiing around airports like this that you don't know. on the brakes. That looks good enough to me. Parking brake set. Engine 1, 2, 3 and 4 dead. APU bleed on, beacon on, or off, sorry, and seatbelt sign off. Welcome down to Seattle. So, welcome down to Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. Another very successful flight in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. I'm really starting to fall in love with this simulator. The performance I'm getting on my new system is unbelievable. And we get to enjoy experiences like this. I mean, that approach view was one of my top 10 moments in Flight Sim, that was. And the scenery here by MK Studios is lovely. The iniBuilds 340 was excellent yet again. A real joy to fly, and finished it off with a lovely landing onto runway 16 right into Seattle. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving it a like and subscribing. I'll be back after the Christmas break, probably before the new year, with some new content. Maybe jumping into the Phoenix or something a little bit different. But I'll leave you, and I'll see you very soon in the next video.